Hi everyone, welcome back. Sorry about the bad lighting today. It's a bit overcast, but I just decided to get on with it because it's my opportunity to film right now, and I think it's good enough. Let me know in the comments if you don't think it is, but I think it's good enough as it is. I'm actually wanting to do a first impressions video. I mean, you'll know that if you clicked because I'll probably title it that. But I went into the Boots up here. It's called Boots in Silverlink. And I explained to the lady at the counter that I was looking for Estee Lauder's Double Wear because I've heard such good things about it, and I'm considering buying it for the wedding. Now, she did explain that the Double Wear Light might be better for me for weddings, and she said, you know, it is very heavy, but I know at the same time I've been told for photos to go for, you know, something a bit heavier that's going to look good for photography, which may not look the best in person but will look good for photography. So she colour matched me, and it's Shell. She colour matched me too, and then she also gave me a sample of like a glowy primer. Unfortunately, she forgot to write down what this primer is for, is called, so I'm going to use a bit of that anyway. Get it out of this tiny little pot. And then I'm going to try the Estee Lauder foundation, which I'm actually really excited to try. I'm actually also scared to try it because the reason that I don't try higher end products is because if I like it, I'll want to buy it. And if I want to buy it, then I will buy it. And that's a bit of a problem. I won't go into too much detail, but the budget for the wedding is actually a little bit lower than we originally thought. The budget for everything's a bit lower, unfortunately, because somebody decided to attempt to steal my fiance's motorbike. It's all been really traumatic because unfortunately the excess that he had to have because of the type of bike he had and the number of years experience he'd had on his main bike test, the type of bike that he had meant that the excess was massive, and that means that because of how they valued the bike, even though it was less than what the quote he asked for, it does mean that unfortunately it's actually not worth our while to lose the no claim. So we've ended up having to buy a brand new bike completely from scratch. Well, it's not brand new, it's a second hand, but I mean it's new to us. We've had to buy that on the day that we realised it happened. My partner had to miss work that day, so that's cost us. I had to drive him to go and view the bike, that's cost us. They cut the cord on the CCTV camera, that's cost us. So yeah, things will be a bit different at the minute, but I'm trying not to let it upset me too much. I've been a right scatterbrain with it, but I'm trying not to let it upset me and just trying to carry on as normal. But it, you know, it's ended up costing us about £1.50, and that's a lot of money to us. I poured it onto my hand, and it is very thick. It's not dripping down hardly any. And I'm just going to pop that on my face. But I mean, my fiance wants me to be happy, so obviously, so if I did find a higher end product that I felt I just had to have, then, and I mentioned it, he'd probably just buy it for me. So I try not to try them because really I shouldn't be spending money on that sort of thing. I'm going to use my e.l.f. powder brush, which I usually use for foundation, and I've cleaned it. So to give you a true first impressions, there's no other product on there. And I've also got my QVS foundation brush. With it being thicker, I thought I'd just use this to disperse the product. Now, I think she's done a really good job colour matching me. Oh, you have to work quite quickly with this. So first impressions are, it is a bit streaky, but I think that's the brush I'm using. I wouldn't usually use this sort of brush. I didn't really like that primer, to be honest. It didn't feel as silicone-y as what I'm used to. And the texture of it, I didn't put it under my eyes just out of automatic movement. I didn't put it under my eyes because I didn't feel that I was comfortable to. And I would usually only, or at least mainly, put the primer under my eye. I'm using the Garnier 5-second blur at the minute, and that's really good under the eye. That was a recommendation from another YouTuber that I watch, Kristen. I will put her channel in the description box. I know there's quite a few Kristens on YouTube. Okay, so it's buffing in really well. It's a colour match for my face, but I'm wondering if it's a tad lighter than my chest. On the camera it's picking up a little bit mask-like, but it doesn't look that severe in person. Now, I consider myself to have normal skin, and but it does get a little bit drier in the winter and autumn. And my wedding's going to be in the spring, so I don't imagine I'll have dry, or, you know, I think it'll just be normal. But looking at this, it is clinging a little bit to my dry patches. I'm going to build it up now. I'm going to put a second coat on, but I'm not going to put that on my forehead because I never do. I just feel as though my forehead doesn't really have much need for much coverage. Okay, that does build up really nicely. I often find when I watch reviews that some people describe certain foundations as buildable, and I find I can't get them to build, but this is really easily buildable. I think the main person that I wanted to try this foundation because of is LipglossLeslie. I really love LipglossLeslie's channel. I'll link that as well. She wears this one all the time, and her skin just looks absolutely flawless every single video. Now, I do just feel like that's enough, but I've got it on the back of my hand, so I'm going to use it because that's what I'm like. I hate waste. I don't know. I'm not in love. I didn't check how much the price is, but I assume it's, you know, £30, 20, 30 odd pounds. So it's going to have to blow me away to replace the drugstore foundations that I would usually use. I do have pink undertones to my skin, but this is very pink undertones, and I'm not sure if it's very flattering. But I might go back and try it in a different colour. I remember hearing, what's her name? The YouTuber who's a makeup artist, I know lots of them are, Lisa Eldridge. She was saying how even if you're pink undertoned, you should still go for a neutral foundation, or even a slightly yellow tone one, just so your face doesn't look too red. I don't think I like that. I'm going to take some photos. It just feels very ghostly. Yeah, I've got to be careful what I say now, and because I don't want to get sued. In my opinion, I wouldn't go and purchase that because of the price, and I just feel as though it reminds me a lot of some cheaper foundations, but actually ones that are less cakey. So for example, this colour in particular reminds me of the lightest shade you can get in the Lasting Performance. It's Max Factor Lasting Performance. This foundation reminds me of that. I assume it will just wear really well, and that's another factor. And it's certainly something I'm going to have to factor in, but you know, that's what my bridesmaids are for, to help me with touch-ups, and I can always redo my makeup if it, you know, which isn't the end of the world either. Yeah, So I hope that was a helpful first impressions. Everybody's different, so if you love that foundation, then you know, you go for it. And maybe if I had a more illuminating primer, though I did use the one she gave me and it did seem quite illuminating, and that's Estee Lauder as well. Maybe if I'd done a sort of facial treatment like a exfoliating and deep moisture mask or something, then it might be better, but my skin isn't in bad condition at the moment, so I don't know. Yeah, again as well, maybe if you used a more expensive or higher end brush. I'm just using obviously a drugstore brush, though I do get a nice finish with this usually, but I'm not in love with it. Okay, so I've been wearing the foundation now for about 45 minutes to an hour, and I've sprayed it with a makeup facial setting spray, which I think has helped with the finish. I will add something though. When I put on my under eye concealer, which in this case was MAC Pro Long Wear, as covering as MAC Pro Long Wear is, it's actually less of a coverage in this foundation, which means it's caused me to look as though I do have darker circles than I actually had. It has not done the purpose of concealing, so I think you'd have to have quite a heavy duty under eye concealer, or even try the foundation up as a concealer at the same time as a foundation in order to wear it. But I've also noticed, I don't know what's happened, I've actually got a patch missing just here. I think it's when I was applying my concealer, somehow I've managed to rub off a bit of the foundation, and when I'm looking around my nose and here, it's sort of almost making me look like I've got little black moustache hairs that I don't actually have. And I don't know how or why it's doing that either, so not a big fan of the foundation. As I've said before, if you like it, then that's, you know, absolutely fine, but these are just my thoughts and opinions, and hopefully they're helpful to some. I know some people do need a really full coverage foundation if they have acne scars and things like that, and it might just be that because I don't have those things and I don't often use a really full coverage foundation, that maybe I'm just not used to it. That could be the case. But yeah, I'm not really enjoying it. So I hope this review, first impressions, was useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!